Scapegoats, black sheep, and empaths are controlled by fear. Whether it's their own, or whether it's our own, or whether it's somebody else's, it's that which keeps us stuck in the scapegoat role. Escaping the scapegoat role is learning about the fear, overcoming it, learning to find a new wonderful life. That's what this channel is about. My name is Mark. This is The Emotional Alchemist. This video is on overcoming fear. For anyone that's new to my channel, you'll see in the description below there's a link to an overcoming fear meditation, along with some exercises which help balance the left and the right brain. All of this stuff helps to overcome emotional overwhelm and helps to overcome fear. Fear for so many of us, if we look back, I look back and I can see where my fears started from. So many of the fears that I developed in childhood are still present in my life today. They are interacting with me on a daily basis. If I can, and it's great at this point to split off, understand the three, where they come from really. Because some of these fears are, although they were all given to me because I was a baby and it was like started from scratch or whatever it is, there are some fears that I have. If you're a scapegoat, there are some fears which other people have, which they project onto you. And there are some false fears, which are other people manipulating you because they know which your fears are. I'm going to start with single fears, my fears. So one of these things, if I just take perfectionism for an example, perfectionism is this idea that I won't be accepted unless I am perfect, which is why this channel has been so slow, because I have this idea that videos have to be perfect and that I should be in a wonderful setting. So many of my videos were made on mountainsides and now I'm sitting on a bloody couch. That's a hard thing. But if I can just put it out and go, because actually you are listening to me for my words rather than the setting. But that perfectionism thing, that fear that I won't be accepted if everything I do is not perfect, it's an impossible paradigm to fulfill. And yet, by having me believe it, I have been given an impossible box by somebody else. And overcoming that is in just being aware as fears come up. I'll use the example of videos. Can I send out this video even though I know that I've kind of fudged it a couple of times already? And it's like, yes. What's the real fear? Again, it's rejection. And actually for scapegoats, in ancient days, the scapegoat role was all the sins of the tribe would be projected onto a goat. The goat would be kicked out in the desert to die. Ostracism, it's that idea that we will be pushed out, left by ourselves. So the ultimate fear of the scapegoat is one of, it's better to stay. I had this wonderful expression. Shit is shit, but it's warm and soft. It's better to stay in the middle of shit rather than leave, because the unknown is terrifying. I made the example that there are so many of us who feel like we're on pirate ships being given the option. It's like stay on the pirate ship and be tortured, or walk the plank at any time. What we can't see is there are millions of us who, scapegoats, black sheep, empaths, someone called it a tie-dye sheep. Yes, people who are different. We think differently. We don't fit into the regular, easy mold. And so the easiest way for what people do is to ostracize us. And we have that fear that if that happens, it's basically the fear of death. But actually, and I make these videos because you identify with me, and you say, oh, yeah, I feel that way too. And I'm like, oh, I'm not the only one. And actually, the more of you do it, it's amazing. There's a Facebook group, incidentally. It's called the Scapegoat Club. If you search it on Facebook, there's basically a group of us who are escaping and escaped goats. So the fears that come up, if I can just be aware of them, the hardest thing to do with fears for so many of us is to name them. It's like, what's the real fear behind all of this? Why do I really believe this? And with this is like, you have a belief, you have a thought, and then you have a belief, and those two interact and give you a feeling in your body. You know that feeling of where your stomach is gripped or your chest tightens? Those are feelings, like feelings in your body. It's a hormonal response. Basically, you've had a thought and it's interacted with a belief to create an emotion. Thought acts with a past belief, creates an emotion, which creates a hormonal response in my body. So your stomach, when it tightens up, is cortisol and adrenaline, the stress hormones. So first of all, and all of this is just, it sounds technical and difficult to understand, but actually it's just about becoming aware of the different things that are going on. It's like, because if I can pause when I feel the fear, just if I know there's something going on in my body, and for so many of us who have been disassociated from our body, we thought that feelings were bad, and so it was just easier to kind of live up here. I know a lot of women, I've worked with a lot of you who are dissociated from your body because it's, and for me with the Hashimoto stuff, this is all hormone stuff. Hashimoto, recovering from Hashimoto's autoimmune is the throat chakra, hyperthyroidism. When I was in a pharmacy, the pharmacist said, Hashimoto's, that's a woman's disease. I said, no, it's a disease for someone who lacks the ability to express themselves easily and openly. Well, historically, that has been women. And so Hashimoto's is the underactive thyroid. 7 out of 8 people who have it are women. Just so happens that I have it because I had trouble expressing myself. I still can. Now it's easier. Actually, it's more difficult to do it to the camera than it is in person these days. Because if I can understand, so I notice what's going on in my body. Great. What's going on in my head? It's like, what is the emotion? Just check it out. Is it fear, anger, shame, blame, sadness? And if it's any of those, or if it's fear, what am I looking at? What am I projecting? What future am I imagining? Because fear is always in the future. If it's in the present, then it's pain. If there's if there's a lion there and he's standing and you think he's going to rip you apart, well, that's fear. If he's ripping you apart, that's pain. So it's like, what am I imagining is going to happen? And then what's the belief behind that? So if I imagine that I'm going to put out this video and people won't like it, then that's the fear of, it's the perfectionist thing. It's the thing of being rejected. It's what's it based on? I did stuff early on as a kid, people didn't like it and I was rejected for it. And if that stuff was creative stuff when I was doing it, and it was a real expression of my true self, and then I was criticized for it before the age of 6, before the age of 8, before I could kind of reason, when kind of you're just absorbing information and you learn you were wrong. Scapegoats learn that they are, not their actions are wrong, but that we're actually wrong as people, as ourselves. Our true selves are wrong. Escaping the scapegoat role is learning to turn up in the world as me, as Mark, as you, as whatever kind of weird coloured tie-dye sheep you are. One of the hardest things is to be an individual these days. We're given society, you can be an individual totally accepted within certain parameters, but if like the craziest ones are still within certain parameters, the ones who really change the world are their true selves, and they don't care if how they are perceived. That's a really difficult thing, and this the change from scapegoat to a scapegoat is a psychic change, which is why it needs to take so long. Yes, I'm sure there are some people who like this and they're spiritually changed for the rest of their lives, but it's and this kind of leads into the fear that you were given. The second section is, so their fear, what baggage was heaped on you, which was actually theirs. And and this is general kind of intergenerational family dysfunction. It's like dysfunction is passed down through generations because people are unconscious of it. So if there's a perfectionist trait, it will be passed down from one generation to the next. We can also flip. So if you the flip side of perfectionism is just self-sabotage, complete messy. For so many things in my life, it was like there is that self-sabotage part, the addictive part too, that if you can't get it right, if you can't get it perfect, and what that'll mean will be that I'll be ostracized anyway. It's like I had a counselor who summed it up as, fuck it, I never wanted to be a monk anyway. It's that idea that it's basically the big red fuck it button. If I can't get it perfect, I won't do it at all. That is passed on, and everybody. It's like, is there anyone in your life currently that is making you carry their baggage? Scapegoats know this, because there's that feeling that we get when we're interacting with someone who is not being honest, not being true, not being integral. And it's like, and you need to be aware. I'm going to suggest that it's great to become aware of, and then tell people what to do. You can become aware of the feeling in your body. If you're having a conversation with someone who is a crazy maker, who is wanting you to carry their baggage, you're probably going to have emotions going on in the body, or feelings going on in the body, and you're thinking to yourself, maybe you're getting angry or kind of fearful or whatever it is. The more you can become aware of these, because it's just feedback. I had a friend, and he went on vacation with his family. While he was away, he works in the family business. He had this beautiful desk in the family office. And while he was away, his brother's assistant took my friend's desk out of his office and kept it. So the brother had a great desk, and and his assistant now had a great desk. And in my friend's office, they put kind of those carpenter's horses with a sheet of plywood across the top. And while my friend was on vacation with his family, this was sent through, and the whole family laughed and said, "Ha, look, this is your new desk." And they showed him the photograph of his office, which now had not got his desk in it, but just had a sheet of plywood. And it's like, oh, that is hilarious. I mean, as I feel it, because it's not me in that situation. But for him, it was like being crucified in the middle of his family, kind of strung up, and where they're all laughing. And of course, it's all funny and jokey, but if that's the dynamic you grew up in, then it's the denial that it may cause you any pain whatsoever. That is the crazy making part. It's like, oh, come on, it's only a joke, or whatever it is. That is toxic shit. But if you can become aware of the reactions in your body, because the feelings are guidance. It's like, if that happens, then you can, and your chest constricts, you can know reasonably it's because you're interacting with someone else's madness, and it's triggering your own fear. So you can breathe. And if for those people who are passing on that stuff intergenerationally, if it's ignorant, by which they're unconscious of what they're doing, and they're doing it in a way which is done just to heap your baggage onto them, then that's one thing. But actually, the third category, it's your fear, their fear, and the baggage that gets put on. But there's also false fear. So and this is narcissists, this is sociopaths, this is patriarchs, I've got a note here, patriarchs, men and women with an energy which seeks to dominate others through anger, aggression, kind of rage, anyone who, shaming, anyone who is using shaming and anger and aggression consciously in order to force somebody else to change. That's what I call patriarch. It's I know there's the male or masculine kind of element to it, but it's for me the word is useful to use for those people who seek to dominate others, men or women. And this is and that's, if they're conscious of doing it at the time they're doing it, then that is malevolent. They're not doing it through ignorance. That's not intergenerational dysfunction. That is a whole different thing altogether, because it's, and I'll say that this is a loaded word, but evil is the actions that are done with malice and spite, intending to hurt somebody else. If somebody does those consciously, then their actions are evil. And this is the malevolence thing. It's like, do they want you just to carry their baggage, or do they want you to carry their baggage because they want you to suffer? That is a different category altogether, which is why narcissists, sociopaths, and those people who are conscious of the harmful actions that they're doing are dangerous. And it's best and really to become aware of what you're interacting with and with all of this stuff. It's the feelings in the body which is the guidance. Now we can work out, just become present, go back, heal what was going on for us at the time that we learned that those feelings. I mean, the feeling of gripping in your stomach, I mean, that's probably, I'm going to say presumably, that's probably what's been going on for you since you were 4 years old or 6 years old. And it's needing to heal that stuff. Well, you couldn't think and reason about that stuff when you were 6 years old, because you didn't have the brain capacity to be able to do it. So actually you just felt it, which is why psychotherapy is amazing to get insight, but ultimately we have to, it's the emotions that we need to heal. I can spiritually bypass by going, yeah, I know, I feel this, and so actually it's because it happened when, whatever. But if I don't feel it, then it's not going to heal. There's an amazing healing video by Teal Swan, who I met weirdly on the 13th floor in an elevator in LA at the Conscious Life Expo. It's basically healing, it's called somatic healing, healing those feelings in the body. I'll put it here, it's a link. This is the most amazing healing technique. A lot of people don't like her, she's very strong, she's, but it's amazing. The first time I did this exercise, it was first thing in the morning like it is now, and I felt the fear, I allowed it to be present in my body, and energetically it was huge, because actually there were emotions I wasn't allowed when I was a kid, and to allow those back into my body, to kind of reintegrate all of those parts of me which I have fractured off, is tough. And I did the exercise, had breakfast. 20 minutes later, breakfast came up, because my stomach still, my gut still had some feelings going on about the healing stuff. Now that sounds like it's a bad thing. It's a really good thing, because the more I become in touch with my body, and this really for me has been the last couple of years, it's becoming, because there are different, they call them planes. So the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, where my thoughts are, where I am as I'm thinking, and then the spiritual. It's like, if I can be aware of all of those, and I'm never going to do it perfectly, you need to remember that, but it's like, if I can be aware of my body and the feelings going on and what's going on in my head at the same time, that is, it's called the middle way. It's like, it's balancing between all of the feedback, the body feedback, the mental, and the emotional. So then I can find what it is. I can really be connected to my true self, my higher self, that and in line with those values that I seek to live by. And ultimately, the antidote for fear is truth, because if I can name just what it is, those the situation, the actions, then I can get insight. But if I am not, and this is denial, if I'm pushing away genuine facts, then I'm never going to build a life on, I mean, they call it building, it's like on a foundation of sand, rather than, I mean, if I can name whatever they are, build them on truth, actually name that stuff, name those fears, then I can build my life and see what's really coming. Woo, that's a whole bunch of stuff. Remember to be good to yourself. My name is Mark, this is the Emotional Alchemist. If you want to see more videos like this for scapegoats, empaths, black sheep, finding the joy in life, overcoming the fear, putting down the baggage, finding our friends, our tribe, and all the joy that comes along with that, hit the subscribe button, the little bell icon. Thanks for watching.